Prepare to immerse yourself in a somber and distressing enigma, where innocence was lost in the arid Arizona desert. On July 31, 1960, a man searching for stones to adorn his garden made a macabre discovery on Interstate 93, near the town of Congress: the partially buried body of a young girl. The victim, dressed in red shorts and a striped blouse, wore adult sandals adapted for her small feet, a detail that disturbs the soul. Her nails, painted bright red, contrasted with the pallor of death. Around her, fragments of clothing, echoes of an interrupted life. It was estimated that the girl had been taken from life between 1 and 2 weeks earlier, but the exact cause of death remains a mystery, shrouded in suspicions of homicide. Despite tireless efforts, her identity remained unknown, condemning her to anonymity. The girl, then, was baptized Little Miss Nobody, a name that resonates with the tragedy of oblivion. Prepare to question the unthinkable. Who was Little Miss Nobody, and what dark secrets did she hold? Why were her sandals cruelly adapted? What do the red-painted nails signify? Delve into this chilling case. Unravel the mysteries surrounding Little Miss Nobody. Hello everyone. Welcome to the True Crime Files Investigations channel. If you are a lover of real criminal stories, get ready for an exciting marathon. Every week, we will explore shocking and remarkable cases, the most complex and intriguing ones, with an in-depth analysis of the details and motivations behind each event, which leads us to question human nature. Subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos, and ensure you're always up to date with our exclusive content. Leave your like to strengthen our community and motivate me to bring more and more impactful and unprecedented stories. Get ready to discover the backstage of the crime world, learn about the failures of the judicial system and the stories of victims fighting for justice. Welcome to an investigative and emotional journey. I count on you on this journey. The truth is about to be revealed. So, fasten your seatbelts, because the investigation begins now. On a day that promised to be ordinary, July 31, 1960, a man searching for stones to adorn his garden made a discovery that would haunt him forever. On the banks of Interstate 93, near the quiet town of Congress, Arizona, he stumbled upon the partially buried body of a young girl. The scene was disturbing. The girl was wearing red shorts and a button-down blouse with a distinctive vertical linear pattern. Her feet, shod in adult sandals adapted with leather straps, revealed a cruel detail. The sandals had been cut to fit her small feet. The nails of her hands and feet, painted a vibrant red, contrasted with the pallor of death. Fragments of clothing scattered around the body told a silent story. It was estimated that the girl had lost her life between 1 and 2 weeks earlier, but the exact cause of death remained a mystery, shrouded in suspicions of homicide. Despite the tireless efforts of the authorities, the victim's identity remained an enigma. Without clues leading to her family or her assailants, the girl was christened Little Miss Nobody, a name that echoes the tragedy of anonymity. Upon examining the scene, authorities encountered a scenario that revealed more than just a murder. Forensic analysis pointed to 2 attempted homicides, in addition to the consummation of the crime. The presence of 2 distinct disturbances in the sand, near the burial site, was a disturbing indication. Tire tracks marked the path taken by the criminal, revealing that a vehicle had been used to transport the victim to that remote point on Highway 93. Little Miss Nobody, as she became known, lay there, silenced forever. A thorough investigation of the scene revealed a knife and 2 shoe prints. One belonged to an adult, while the other, smaller one, appeared to have been left by the adapted sandals the girl was wearing. The hypothesis that she had walked to the crime scene gained strength, a detail that increased the cruelty of the act. The evidence collected, clothing, knife, and footprints, was sent to the FBI laboratory, hoping the technology could unravel the secrets of that heinous crime. The autopsy revealed that the victim was a Caucasian girl, estimated to be between 5 and 7 years old. Her hair, possibly brown, had been dyed a reddish hue, a detail that aroused curiosity. Her milk teeth, intact and in perfect condition, contrasted with the brutality of the situation. Despite the thorough analysis, the cause of death remained an enigma. The advanced state of decomposition of the remains made it impossible to identify wounds or bone fractures. The girl's clothes also showed no perforations, ruling out the hypothesis of an attack with a bladed weapon. The impossibility of reconstructing Little Miss Nobody's appearance, due to the charring and decomposition of the remains, represented a crucial obstacle to the investigation. Hope lay in the collaboration of the media, the local community, and the deep knowledge of the FBI agents and the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office. An appeal was launched on all radio networks, seeking information that could lead to the identification of the victim. Numerous people with a history of crimes against children were interrogated, while the Sheriff's Office received an avalanche of letters, phone calls, and telegrams. A promising lead emerged. A family had been seen walking near the crime scene on July 27th, days before the body was discovered. One of the girls in the group was wearing clothing similar to the victims. The investigation focused on the Davidson family, who were subjected to a lengthy interrogation. However, the investigation concluded that the Davidson family had no connection to the crime. The search for Little Miss Nobody's identity continued, a race against time in search of justice for a tragically cut short life. In August 1960, the investigation took an intriguing turn. The possibility that Little Miss Nobody was Sharon Gallegos, a 4-year-old girl kidnapped from a nearby town, gained strength. Although the victim's clothing did not match what Sharon was wearing at the time of the kidnapping, investigators did not rule out the hypothesis. After all, only 10 days separated Sharon's kidnapping from the discovery of the body. However, the hope of identifying Little Miss Nobody as Sharon Gallegos was dashed. Police issued a statement clarifying that the victim's estimated age was older than Sharon's, and the location where the body was found was far from the kidnapping site. Without clues about her identity and with no relatives to claim her, Little Miss Nobody was finally buried on August 10, 1960, in Mountain View Cemetery. The funeral ceremony was attended by more than 70 people, a gesture of compassion and solidarity in the midst of tragedy. On August 8, 1961, the sheriff led a team of law enforcement officers and some cameramen to the location where Little Miss Nobody's body was found. The evidence collected, including the rubber sandals the girl was wearing, was presented to the media. The footage was shown on television, hoping to obtain new clues that would lead to the victim's identification. However, no relevant information emerged. The case remained at a standstill for decades. Only in 2018, thanks to advances in DNA analysis and the intervention of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the investigation gained new momentum. Little Miss Nobody's remains were exhumed to collect DNA samples. DNA samples were entered into the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System and the databases of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Forensic experts re-examined the bones and dental records, redefining Little Miss Nobody's age range to between 3 and 6 years old. The Human Identification Center at the University of North Texas created a facial reconstruction of the victim. In January 2022, DNA samples were sent to Othram, a company specializing in genetic genealogy, hoping to identify a close relative of Little Miss Nobody. Through genealogical analysis, researchers were able to trace a family tree that led them to confirm, in February 2022, that Little Miss Nobody was, in fact, Sharon Gallegos, the girl kidnapped in 1960. On March 15, 2022, after nearly 62 years of mystery, Little Miss Nobody's identity was revealed. Sharon Gallegos, a 4-year-old girl kidnapped in front of her grandmother's house in Alamogordo, New Mexico. According to reports, the suspects in the crime were 2 people who kept the girl in captivity for 10 days before her body was discovered. Witnesses reported seeing the suspects harassing Sharon weeks before the kidnapping. One of those sightings occurred on July 17th, when a couple in a dark green sedan was seen near the location where Sharon and her mother were attending Mass. The suspicious woman reportedly asked others about Sharon and her mother. Sharon lived with her family in Alamogordo, New Mexico. Her father, a soldier, had abandoned the family when she was still a baby. The Gallegos family faced financial difficulties, and Sharon's mother worked as a waitress at a motel to support them. Despite the hardships, Sharon was a cheerful and helpful girl who enjoyed playing with other children and helping her mother. Due to her fair skin, her relatives affectionately nicknamed her Chiron. Sharon disappeared 2 months before her 5th birthday. The last time she was seen, she was wearing pink and white pants, shorts, and shoes. Her mother, Guadalupe, noticed that Sharon was more nervous and cautious in the days leading up to her disappearance. She no longer liked running errands and asked to be picked up or accompanied when she saw the dark green sedan. Around July 1960, the suspicious woman was seen knocking on a neighbor's door, asking for information about Sharon's mother. The strange woman specifically asked if the family had a young girl. The investigation took an even darker turn when the neighbor reported that the strange woman had questioned her about Guadalupe's financial situation and the number of her children, claiming she intended to offer her a job. The suspicion raised doubts about the couple's true intentions, casting a shadow of doubt on their motivations. On July 21, 1960, Sharon was playing with her two cousins, ages 5 and 11, in an alley behind her grandmother's house. Around 3 p.m., the children witnessed a couple approaching Sharon. They promised to buy her candy and new clothes, inviting her to get into their car. When Sharon refused, the woman dragged her by the arm toward the vehicle, described by the children as a green, old, and dirty car. After putting Sharon in the car, the couple fled at high speed, last seen turning west onto a secondary road. Sharon's cousins ran to warn Guadalupe, who immediately reported the kidnapping to the authorities. Based on the cousins' description, the authorities theorized that the vehicle was a 1951 or 1952 Dodge or sedan. In less than an hour, checkpoints were set up on the border between Texas and New Mexico, and several vehicles were searched. The search for the kidnappers intensified. The woman was described as a stout person, approximately 30 years old, short, with glasses and sandy blonde hair. The man was described as a thin Caucasian male with a long nose and straight, dark hair. The authorities ruled out the hypothesis that Sharon's kidnapping was for ransom, as the Gallegos family had limited resources and no money was demanded. The harassment prior to the kidnapping indicated that Sharon had been kidnapped for a specific reason, possibly related to an obsession of the couple. Sharon's 11-year-old cousin reported seeing the green car near the girl's house on another occasion, when they were walking down the street towards a grocery store. Upon seeing the vehicle, Sharon reportedly showed fear and asked to be carried. A friend and neighbor of the Gallegos family also reported seeing the dark green car parked near the kidnapping location on the previous Sunday. Unfortunately, Guadalupe passed away before knowing her daughter's whereabouts. Sharon's identity was confirmed to a nephew, Ray Chavez, who was born 5 years after the kidnapping. Sharon Gallegos was reburied at San Francisco de Paula Catholic Cemetery in Tularosa, New Mexico, on October 25, 2022. The girl was buried in the same grave as her mother and grandmother, after a small ceremony attended by surviving relatives, some of whom never knew her. The police continue to investigate the case, seeking answers about the events that led to Sharon's murder and, above all, about the identity and motivations of the couple who kidnapped her. Unfortunately, there is no information confirming whether the family filed a complaint about the harassment of Sharon or whether anyone attempted to confront the couple. Thank you so much for watching this story. Your presence and support are essential for me to continue creating quality content. So, if you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any new episodes. Your subscription and comments are fundamental for me to keep bringing quality content. Leave your opinion in the comments, always with respect for the victims, and together let's build an even better community. Thank you so much for following my work, and I'll see you in the next episode.